Hello, this is Palico Pouch and welcome back to another Sleepy Sunday Let's Play episode of the game 80 Gays? That's not the best start, is it? Although that would make an interesting episode. No, this is 80 Days! We are Passpartout. We are the concierge of the famous fictional Phileas Fogg, and we're in Quetta at the moment. I believe it said Quetta. A bit like, well, I'm only going by the fact of the famous DJ David Guetta, which is, I'm pretty sure that, just with a G, but don't hold me to that. Not quite sure. Quetta sounds right in my mind. Sounds, you know, sort of cultural in a way, as opposed to Quetta, which is, you know, you're halfway to a horse tranquilizer if you say Quetta, so that's not really that good, really. But hey ho, we're in Quetta, we're wasting time, let's crack on. We need to have a quick look in the market. We're still heading easterly, as much as that annoys me. Oh, cowboy boots, part of the American wardrobe set, and the Stetson hat. Snazzy. I don't think we need anything like that here, although is there anything we can sell of ours which might be worth some monies? I noticed we have got stuff to sell. Oh, valuable here in Hong Kong, Agra and Chittagong even. Agra is the place we're trying to head to, isn't it? Because we have a few things which will sell quite well in Agra. Cadabra. Yeah, Agra. Agra is the place to go. We are going to get rid of the tobacco here, I think, just to build up a little bit of money and move the elastic wallet into what I class as our personal suitcase. Everything else we can get rid of as and when. But as far as the personal suitcase is concerned, the elastic wallet was going to stop us from getting robbed again, which was very bloody annoying before. But hey ho, we're not there. We're there. Why it says Lahore, I have no idea. Right, so we're in Quetta. We want to head to Agra. So I suppose Lahore is the best way to go, which isn't depart for another 2 days. I feel from the price it was going to cost us to get from Karachi to Delhi that well, £170, it's nothing to stick your nose about, you know. It's okay generally, and we are heading towards India, which I suppose isn't too bad. We're not going to go that far down if we can help it. Let's wait it out. Let's wait a few days and see what happens. I've done it again, haven't I? Now, I'm just going to say, this is the first time I've recorded in almost 2 weeks. Everything you've seen up until this point, I recorded before Christmas. So I've had a nice long break. If everything is going according to plan, yesterday you should have seen a vlog on what I'm planning on doing with the channel and other things, which I'm not going to go into here because you've come to see this game. But hey ho, this is my first recording for almost 2 weeks. So I'm going to be a little bit rusty, you know. Obviously, I haven't forgotten how to talk and how to ramble and jibber jabber on like I usually do. But buttons. It's all about the buttons. Hotel. That's what we needed to press. In Quetta, we were taken firmly into hand by Madame Whittaker, wife of the local assistant commissioner. Second class? Not first class. No. He's not that good. Just second class. Better than third class. There were riffraff in third class. No. Not much higher than them, but not quite there. Not just on the apex of second class, but not quite there for first class. Just wait for that hand to bring him up into the social elite. Not quite there though. Hey ho. A prime example of what that peculiar breed known as the Mem Sahib, or forceful lady. We're going to go for forceful lady. It's easy to say. A forceful lady tasked with recreating British standards in the domestic sphere of the colonies, just as their husbands attempted a similar task in the political one. You have a Frenchman as a valet, Madame Whittaker remarked in genteel horror. How very modern of you, Mr. Fogg. How she wounded my master. Oh, I glared at her sly face. I'm going to glare. I glared at her with my sly face, with as much open contempt as I dared show. In our travels, I had nearly forgotten the English suspicion of all things continental, and did not enjoy this reminder. He is an adequate valet, my master remarked coolly, which was from him not merely high praise. It was the Foggish equivalent of standing upon a chair and singing Hallelujah! His bloodlines are of little consequence. See? Phileas likes us. Supper was served soon after, which rather broke the gathering tension. The crowning glory was a boiled sheep's head, which glared balefully at the entire table, and my poor stomach suffered greatly. Though my master was greatly cheered. We're going to keep it jovial. Though my master was greatly cheered by its gruesome, unpalatable presence. Truly, could the English spare nothing from the ordeal of being boiled into mush? The mood over dinner was only alleviated by the presence of one Captain Chalmers, a dashing fellow on his way to Chittagong. And what is in Chittagong? I demanded. An uprising, he declared happily. This statement brought shocked gasps from around the table. He patted the air with a hand. A small group of natives who think they can blow up the empire one post office at a time. We're going to get them into line. And then shoot them in line. That's how we do it, us Brits. Do we question the British? We are. Phileas is British. We don't want to upset him. We don't want to make him a social outcast. So, sounds dangerous. Chalmers shrugged gallantly. No doubt some of these fools will turn to desperate measures, but they could never pose a threat to the British Empire. What? A flush in the pan, a little else. Port was served and passed around to the left. We'll be taking the boat from Calcutta, Chalmers added. It's a short hop to Chittagong from there. Nice. Well, at least we found out a route, I guess. It's the other side of India, which... Oh, jeez! No, that's a run. That was a run. Right, so we can't do anything for one more day, I presume. Departs tomorrow, arrives tomorrow. That's a short journey. Okay, well, I'm guessing we'll have one more day in Quetta then. Let's explore. More routes. Well, we already knew that route, that's where we came. The Quetta cantonment was a dreary place. Hastily erected buildings were laid out in the plateau between four mountains that cupped us like a curved palm. This was a place built for troops to move through, or this was merely a pass from one place to another. It's a pass, nothing else. And had never, I think, been cared for. The English colonists stationed here pretended to make it a home, though they could scarcely mask its bleakness. The station was the only building of consequence. We would ourselves be leaving that way soon enough. There is literally nothing here. Let's just make sure there's nothing else in the... No, nothing. They like the Americans here, but nothing else. So I guess we'll hole up in the hotel for one more night, and then we'll dilly-dally off. As night fell, I afforded my master every service, or I went out to explore a little. He's doing all right. He's at 99 health. I don't think we need to service him, as it were. So let's go out and explore a little, enjoying the sights and smells of this curious part of the world. Is that just a really polite way of saying there's nothing going on? Hey-ho. Guess we'll depart then. Departs before 12 noon. £170 sterling, no doubt, to Lahore. Let's do it. Now, it's going to cost us extra. It's not a lot. We are going via horse and carriage, it would appear, which is novel, I guess. That's fine. We'll pay extra. It's going to be physically demanding. It's going to cost Monsieur Fogg 10 health, but that's fine. We'll be fine. Oh, we're on top of some sort of oxen. It's going to be mechanical, isn't it? It's got to be. The Hadhayosh were a type of Persian palanquin. They were richly curtained and carried by two squat, six-horned, brass-skinned mechanical oxen at either end. I knew it. More remarkably, the piloting was automatic. Let's go with more remarkably. I feel that's going to lead us somewhere else. More remarkably, the cushioned litter where we rested was set delicately upon the oxen's curving horns. It was surprisingly comfortable, but I could not help being a little alarmed. Well, you know, hey-ho. He's all right. Let's have a chat. Oh, it's with him. I am at your service, Monsieur Fogg. My excellent valet. Well, let's see if he knows anything about Lahore, I guess. Have you discovered anything in the Times concerning Lahore? Lahore was once the Mughal city of gardens. Oh, can we get to Delhi from Lahore? What have you learned about Delhi? For instance, buyers in Hong Kong will pay fantastic amounts for astrolabes, or is it astrolabes from Delhi? Okay, well, Benares? Did you learn anything in the paper that might help in Benares? I know that you can buy stopwatches in Benares. You can sell for a profit in Colombo. Ah, and one more thing, Lieutenant. I have no idea where that is. Quetta was lost in the distance as we trotted forward across the plains. I am glad to be leaving Quetta. Will we continue east or will we go south? Well, it's kind of sort of southeast if we're going to be, you know, quizzical about it. Will we continue east? I asked, trying to picture our onward path. From Lahore, we should press on to Delhi on the Grand Trunk Road, Monsieur Fogg said decisively, not looking up from his ledger. Unless you have yet another remarkable route to suggest. Then we rode on in silence until we reached the pleasing colonial town of Lahore, overlooked by the 13-gated citadel and green with lush gardens and parks. Nice. Oh, Kabul. Ah, that's what we needed. That was the route we needed. The Persian pottery should be quite valuable here. Oh, yes. I guess we'll have to find out tomorrow. Can we leave straight away? How long do we go there? To Bart's tomorrow. That's fine. We'll fit it all in. I got full. In fact, we're going to Delhi first, aren't we? That's fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Through a series of circumstances too tedious to describe, I found myself lost in Lahore and rescued by a man who bore the name Azad and who, to my luck, spoke English like a native. Most here speak Punjabi, he told me, though the British have decreed the official language to be Urdu. I'm surprised I have time to waste on such matters. I am lost. We don't want to get political. That's what causes arguments. So I am lost. That will do, I told him, keen to avoid being pulled into a long and political conversation. See? So are we all, he mused. Do you know there was a time I dreamed of independence for my country? Oh, I feel like he's pulling me in. He wants me to get political, and I don't want to do that. I'm not from around here. I don't vote to say who's who here. And let's face it, Heil Britannia. You know, they are right now, and they are the most widespread empire in the world. We don't want to be upsetting them. I'm French. You know, this is going to cause problems, I feel. So no, I nodded and smiled, hoping he would take my reaction as polite but uninterested. His shoulders dropped, defeated by my indifference, and he pointed out the direction of the main road without speaking again. I took it promptly and did not look back. I think that was the safest thing to do. We're not being dragged in. I dig that, but I don't at the same time. Let's speed this up a bit. There we go. Market. It was the porcelain, wasn't it? Persian pottery. Or was it the China tea set? I think Monsieur Fogg was lying to me. What was this? Tight linen trousers, perfect cool off in the weather. Not too fussed by that. Left of the law set, pressure gauge. Part of the engineer set. I don't think this is going to help us too much. We're not going to be too fussed by that. Get out of here. Let's depart. Let's just get out of here. I've upset the natives. Time to get out of here. Do I want to stop at Delhi? You know, it is, I suppose, arguably a big sort of town and such. I don't know. Or should we just push on? The thing is, we're probably going to have to wait around to go further if we get to Delhi. So no, let's go to Agra. We've wasted a few days just hanging about. There is no bank. What about Delhi then? Boys in Hong Kong will pay fantastic amounts for astrolabes from Delhi. No, not too fussed by that. Let's go to Agra. And we'll hire the extra space for the sake of £40. I'm not too fussed. And it's going to cost us 8 health for Monsieur Fogg. I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll get through it. He'll get through it. He's British, for God's sake. They're built out of, well, what are we built out of? Mainly sort of fat and fish and chips, obviously. You know, there's a lot of grease there. There's a lot of grease there. And beer, so wheat. So lard and wheat is what us British are made out of. We hired a mechanical palanquin for the journey and clambered aboard. It was similar to the Hadheosh in some ways, but somewhat less confined. Much more open. That's what I like. I feel like I'm going to be talking to Monsieur Fogg again, so I'm just going to heal him up a bit. Nice. It was only a short distance from Lahore to Delhi, and we had been promised it was a particularly well-maintained stretch of road. I called out to the other vehicles and spent a pleasant afternoon in conversation with the traders and troops who travelled alongside us, hearing from a charming Bangladeshi master that the devout sisters of Didacus are best avoided in Madras. An afternoon well spent, though I was not sorry to see the ancient fortified walls of Delhi appear out of the haze of dust ahead of us. We continued on. I'm not getting off. We continued on. Agra came into view and tossed aside any remembrance of my journey upon the ancient Grand Trunk Road. At first I only saw... oh, the white marble magnificence of the Taj Mahal. Why not? Its towers nearly touching the clouds. Oh, I had heard rumours, of course, but the truth of the vast walking city perched high atop its pillar-like mechanical legs, left me with only one question. How are we going to climb up? What would it feel like when it walked? How were we going to climb up the towering edifice to enter Agra before it departed? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Several of our possessions should be quite valuable here. I know. We're going to have to stop over them, aren't we? Before turning in for the night. He's alright. I went out to explore a little. Only to see a remarkably energetic British gentleman in a dramatic conversation with a housewife. From which I learned, it can sometimes be prudent not to get in the way. I escaped with a torn shirt. Oh. Okay. Hey, I thought I was just listening in, but looks like I was getting involved. Yeah, whatever. I'm very aware that we don't have any way of leaving here at the moment. We can't plan. I'm guessing it's because we don't know where we're going. Let's do the market first. So that was valuable. We'll get rid of that. What else is valuable? That's not valuable. That's valuable. We'll get rid of that. That is definitely... boom! Look at that money! Ah! Oh, beautiful. Right, so false passport. Loaded dice. Shaving kit. Part of the valeting set. Cold compress. Part of the rest and recuperation set. Or, you know, don't want to be a monkey wrench, but hey ho. Let's... I mean, we've got a chance of getting the full set of left of the law here. I think. How much is it? Anyway, I'm just spending money. I'm not even looking at it. 3, 41, 3, 13, 7. Right, let's go with the expensive stuff. We had just made a hell of a lot of money. Part of the engineer set or the shaving set? Are you going to fit in 2? Oh, beautiful. Can we sell you? I could sell... I can't sell you. Hey ho, we'll explore then, I guess. Oh, okay. Straight to Calcutta. The Parambulatory... my God, that's a word. Parambulatory city of Agra was itself a very bad word. Wonder, monstrous contraption. Wonder. The Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan had wished to build a monument to his great love Mumtaz, and instead of a mere building had commissioned a roving city. The vast white granite magnificence of the Taj Mahal perched on the plateau atop its jointed fortified legs. There were thick gouges in the ground, or a fitting monument to great love. I'm a romantic at heart. I'm French, so a fitting monument to great love, one that my Frenchman's heart could not disapprove of. Oui, oui. Her sovereignty was a contested matter. The British had laid claim to her, but she passed through independent territories on her peregrinations. Such large words. Her power source was an enduring mystery, or how can one claim to own a city which moves from place to place? We're not going to get involved in politics again. So, her power source was an enduring mystery, one which still befuddled the various European engineers who had made her their life's work. As for me, I was just glad she worked. I'm a simple person. Her safety record was unimpeachable, if one did not count the occasional sleeping farmer crushed beneath her granite-clad foot. We boarded Agra at noon. She would begin walking to Calcutta when the sun set, taking us with her on her unvarying circuit. Right, okay, so what is the circuit, I suppose, is the answer to that. So how much is this going to cost me? Or is it just the fact we're moving because it's a moving city? Oh, awesome. So it's not actually going to cost us anything. We just stay on there and off we toddle. Well, we've got nowhere else we can go. We can't get to any of these, can we? So I guess we're just going to stay on and hope for the best. It is a moving city after all. You know, lazy farmer or not. One of the scarlet-cloaked city officials rang a brass bell. Answering tolls echoed from all corners of the city of Agra. While the sound still echoed in my ears, the city lurched beneath me, tilting first to the left and abruptly to the right. We were off! The walking city had begun its circuit. She settled down into a regular rhythm after a few tottering steps, and by evening I barely noticed the slight tilt and yaw, developing a kind of sea legs. Nice. I guess we better seek to Monsieur Fogg. Oh, a close shave. Superb. Truth be told, the sound was more difficult to accustom myself to than Agra's multi-jointed gait. Her granite-clad feet pounded into the earth with enormous, shuddering crashes that could be heard even from our rarefied station. Do I dare look over the edge? Do I dare? Yeah, let's do it. I looked over the edge at the verdant fields and forest below, interrupted by little thatched villages and larger brick-buildinged towns which wreathed themselves in black smoke. The Grand Trunk Road snaked ahead of us towards the horizon. I felt like a giant. The earth seemed to unroll itself from my inspection. Farmers and horses and cows below seemed pale and unreal and altogether insignificant. In that moment, only I was solid. Only I was real. Thankfully, the moment passed quickly, but I did not soon return to the railing. A man thought strange thoughts, perched atop a migrating city with an engine for a heart. It's, yeah, bit of a weird one, all in all, but hey-ho. It's getting us where we need to be. That's all we need to do. We can wait. Guess we'll wait. My master and I took a turn about the top deck. As we passed within sight of Allahabad, or marvelling at the glistening white marble edifice of the Taj Mahal. Let's go to the Taj Mahal. Glistening white marble edifice of the Taj Mahal, bounded by clear blue water and manicured gardens. A photographer had set up a booth on the lawn and was doing a brisk trade, taking ferrotypes of families posing in front of the magnificent monument. His hands were stained with chemicals, with dark burns visible against his brown skin. He was experienced at his trade. He glanced over at me appraisingly. Photograph? He asked in passable French. £10. May we? May we, I agreed, and then glanced at Monsieur Fogg and invited him to join me in the picture. It is his money, after all. He glanced at the photographic apparatus and, with evident suspicion, and then at my hopeful expression. Very well, he said shortly. I stared at him, mouth agape, for a full 20 seconds. I had not imagined that he would agree. We posed beside each other as the photographer made his equipment ready. I could barely keep the grin from my face. There was a blinding flash of white light, and by the time my vision had returned to normal, the ferrotype was already being pressed into my hands. A handsome article in some light. I can almost see the barest hint of a smile upon my master's lips. I took the ferrotype into my pocket, and we continued about our promenade. Your funds have gone down a little. Oh, but the joy it's brought to us. The joy, I tell you. Do I want to talk to him? We better talk to him before we get to Calcutta. Oh, not him. Greetings, photographer. I cannot think of anywhere better to take pictures. So, what do we need to know? Let's find out about Calcutta. I'm sure you know all about Calcutta. I find your accent confusing. Right. Great. What about Guwahati? Is it possible to go from Calcutta to Guwahati? Now you listen to me. The fastest way to Guwahati from here is via Chittagong. Well, we know where Chittagong is. Anything interesting? What about Bombay? Is there a route from Calcutta to Bombay? Never mind that. You can pick up henna in Bombay that will sell for a fortune in Rangoon. Okie dokie. I was taking a small digestive walk after a substantial breakfast when I saw a young lady in a bright pink sari and yellow lensed goggles pitch herself over the outer railings. We're heroic. We've got a big heart. I leapt across the deck and immediately entangled myself in some coils of rope, which topped me onto the railings in a slightly less heroic fashion than intended. I peered over the edge. bracing myself for a traumatic sight. But the woman waved up at me cheerily, suspended from the railing by a length of thick hemp rope knotted about her waist. I waved back. Why not? Though my fixed expression could hardly have been described as nonchalant, even by the kindest critic. The woman sought me out at luncheon, by which time I was much recovered, and she introduced herself as Dea. You must tell me, what were you doing? And let's find out what she was doing. You must tell me, what were you doing? Adjusting the socket bones, obviously, she replied. What in heaven did you think I was doing? I did not answer. Simply happy this particular story ended so well. She grinned. I must admit, I waited for you to show up before I jumped. Oh, yeah. Boom. Pimp. Pimp. An excellent performance. I cannot fault her theatrics. She bowed. I'll make it up to you. Agra is a big city, and all the good stuff is below decks. I'll take you down tomorrow if you want to do more than sightseeing. Ooh! She swept away into the crowd, leaving me to contemplate her challenge over my meal. Your character is now stylish and sexy. Next day. I'm getting off now, aren't I? Of course. I stayed well away from the lower decks. I went below the decks, goddammit. I'm a man who cannot resist a challenge. Dea told me of some of the history and layout as we descended a series of stairs of increasing ricketiness. The upper deck was devoted to the Taj Mahal. I followed until we reached a stop. My guide raised a hand. The sound of the engines were vibrating up through the floor. There was no one about. I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. I was beset by the sudden thought that she had brought me to this empty spot to rob me. Then, an enormous set of boilers. Boom! Probably not what it means, but hey-ho. I know. We'll go with she opened a pair of carved doors. I've lost where I was at then. She opened a pair of carved doors saying, with grave ceremony, welcome to the lower city. I blinked my eyes against the light, and as they adjusted I saw where we were. We had come to the township built within the echoing bowels of the city, complete with shops and residences, and even children playing games on the street, though these children tossed adjustable spanners and brass rings. A charge for a ring at my feet, and shyly approached as I reached out to hand it back. The ring, I saw, was old and engraved with measurements. A kneecap, Dea said. We go through 5 or 6 every decade. Dea was clearly a well-known figure and introduced me to her fellow lower city folk with great pride. Almost everyone wore tool belts and yellow-lensed goggles. So, she asked, turning on the spot with hands outstretched, what do you think of my home, Frenchman? Strange but lovely. Or it's unconventional. Ah, it's a hidden world. Yeah, it's not that fantastic. You're in the arse end of a moving city. Strange but lovely, I said truthfully. I would not have dreamed such a place existed beneath the parks of the upper deck. Dea nodded at my response, as if turning it over in her mind. The truth is, I think, that all cities have a below decks, my friend, she said. Agra's is just more obvious, or less, depending. There was something hinted at in her tone, I thought. She smiled weakly. Don't worry, Passpartout, she murmured. I'm not going to eat you. Ah, Madame I, or a most awkward moment. Madame I, but before I could finish my thought, the bells rang out for our stop. The room around me exploded into controlled chaos. Steam exploded from valves. The floor rocked. Brass-goggled men and women pulled enormous levers. That sounds interesting. Threw open iron gates and shouted instructions at each other in a storm of languages. The city lurched to a halt and the great heart stilled. We had arrived at our destination, the British city of Calcutta. I never saw Dea again. Ships in the night on a moving city. I think we can complete our driving outfit here for protection against wind chill. Alright, I dig it. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. A handsome stereotype of myself and my master. Right, what have we got? We got geometry equipment. Well, we're heading towards Beijing and Rangoon, so maybe. Let's get the Pacific timetable first. Tot of rum. Interested sea dogs and soldier types. That might help. We're coming up to some working around the waters. Travelling cloak. Part of the gentleman traveller's set. What do we have down here then? Englishman wardrobe set. Englishman. Jungle Traveller, Urban Traveller, Railway Man, and that's the road set, isn't it? Let's get rid of the pith helmet. We'll sell that for 100. We'll take the gloves. We should be able to fit both of those in as soon as we've used the Pacific timetable. So let's end it there. Wow, I'm guessing that's going to be an airship. That's to Yokohama. Or Manila. Or Honolulu. Keep it moving. San Francisco. Oh! Oh! Pyongyang. Hey, this was not a bad one to go for. Vladivostok or Vladivostok? Yokohama seems to be the place to be. Right, so market. Let's get rid of that now. And we shall buy you, which should fit in there. And you, which is going to fit in there. Lovely. Awesome. Let's have a quick plan. So, well, that is remarkably cheap. £330. How much to go to there then? 750. I think it might be worth just sort of legging it as much as we can to Hong Kong as quickly as we can. Although we can't get to Chittagong for a few days. 3 days. So we'll have an explore around here. Calcutta was an industrial city which had built its wealth on opium, textiles and indigo, but that was not to say it was uncultured. The chai shops which I passed by are nothing compared to Paris, of course. Don't be that guy. The chai shops which I passed by were all thronged with affluent babas and behenges discussing poetry and literature and the sticky subject of Indian independence. It seemed there was discontent brewing, or it seemed a natural outcome of events. It seemed a natural outcome of events, and I said as much, to be loudly shouted down by several pro-British voices, who in turn was shouted down by those fervently in favour of self-rule. It was certainly a thorny issue, and I wondered if we would be able to avoid all consequences of it. Where is the most dangerous right now, or do you think there will be trouble soon? I think we need to find out where not to go. So where is the most dangerous right now? I asked, and a woman nodded. I hear the mountains to the east are teeming with separatists, she declared. They mean to attack Chittagong. I returned quickly to Monsieur Fogg. Well, that in itself is a little bit rubbish, because that's the way we're heading. In 3 days, no doubt, but hey-ho, we are heading there. So, if that departs in 3 days, how long until we go to there? So we can actually get a boat all the way around, and that would set me back £750. I might do that. I might do that. Well, let's have our first night in Calcutta anyway. Who knows? Something interesting might happen. We took a room and settled in, and he's doing all right. I went out to explore a little and spoke to the cheerful Bangladeshi soldier, who was searching for a dog, which I found near a food stall. The soldier thanked me, and as we talked, remarked that the fastest way to Manila is through Singapore. We'll give him a quid. I paid £1 for the information, and he nodded and then moved away. You've got to keep the locals sweet, if you know what I mean. Got to keep the locals sweet. And I think at that note, we shall leave the episode here. So we are in Calcutta. It looks like we're going to be heading into a little bit of a hoo-ha in Chittagong, but it's been fairly all right. We've made quite a lot of money this time round, which is great. I'm not worried about that as such. And it looks like we found a nice cheap boat trip to get to the other side of the continent, which is also awesome. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. That's all going to be next time. So thank you for watching. As always, a like is appreciated, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.